Hi everyone, I'm Rana. This is part 2 of the series Character from Scratch to MetaHuman. In part 1, we built a clean, correctly scaled custom mesh from Photoshop Sketch using AI and clean it up in ZBrush and Maya. In this tutorial, we are jumping into MetaHuman workflow, including a full character binding feature. Let's get started. The first thing I like to do is to make sure Unreal Engine 5.8 is installed. Open your Epic Games Launcher and next to the engine versions, click the plus button. 5.8 will appear as an option. Hit install, click on the options, scroll down and make sure MetaHuman Creator Core data is checked. Hit apply, install, and it will start downloading. Once 5.8 is installed, launch Unreal Engine and create a new project. I picked film, TV, and live events and started with a blank project. Rename your project, then hit create. Now we need to enable MetaHuman plugins. Go to the top menu and choose edit, then plugins. In the search bar, type MetaHuman and make sure all the MetaHuman related plugins are enabled. Once that's done, restart. Once the project reopens, import the mesh that you created in part 1. Create a new MetaHuman character and double-click to open. Go to Import section, choose Custom Mesh, find the Load Custom Mesh box. Drag and drop your 3D mesh from Content Browser. Your mesh will appear in the MetaHuman viewport next to the character. Move your custom mesh to place both faces next to each other in order to mark them faster. Now select a point on your mesh by clicking on Ctrl and right mouse button, and find the same point on the other mesh and click Ctrl and left mouse button. Make sure you do this for all possible landmarks on the face and body. If you make a mistake, you can hit Ctrl Z to undo. Now press Auto Solve. It'll take a few seconds and your MetaHuman is ready. If it's not perfect, you can tweak the mesh, eye position, and so on. Download texture sources, then hit Create Full Rig. It will take some time. Go to the Export option. For this pipeline, I'd like to use DCC Export. Click for the external path. Choose your destination, create a folder, and rename it. Then hit Export DCC Package. Once that's done, we are ready to move to the next step in Maya. First, you'll need to install the MetaHuman plugin for Maya. Open your Epic Games Launcher, go to Fab, and find MetaHuman for Maya. Click Install to Engine and select Unreal Engine 5.8. There's an official installation guide for MetaHuman for Maya if you'd like to follow along there too. Next, copy the Maya plugin. After installing it to Unreal Engine 5.8, go to this directory. Inside that folder, you will find MetaHuman for Maya zip file. Extract it and copy the contents into your Maya modules folder. In C, Users, Your Name, Documents, Maya Modules. If you don't have a modules folder, just create one and rename it to modules. Open Maya, go to Windows Settings and Preferences, Plugin Manager, find MetaHuman for Maya, and check both Loaded and Auto Load boxes. On the top menu bar, find MetaHuman, click on Character Assembler. Click on the folder in your MetaHuman directory. Find your folder and select it. Sometimes the thumbnail won't show up, but that's fine. Click on your MetaHuman and hit Assemble. Maya will ask if you're sure that you want to import the MetaHuman character since all unsaved progress will be lost, so hit Yes. You'll see the mesh rig and lights get imported into your scene. Duplicate the head and body and ungroup them from the folders by hitting Shift-P. Then in modeling mode, hit Mesh, Combine. Drag with the right mouse button to choose vertices. Select vertices around the chest and neck areas to seam the edges. Go to Poly Modeling menu and choose Merge Vertices. Now export your model to ZBrush. At this stage, you can clean up the geometry, fix imperfection, adjust anatomy, and add more details. Once you're happy with the mesh primary forms, export it back to your Maya scene. We could bring this straight into Unreal Engine, but the mesh is combined and the vertices are now in different orders, so you'll get an error like this. Back in our Maya scene, we have the original MetaHuman and imported MetaHuman from ZBrush. First, we need to separate the combined mesh. Choose the edge, select your mesh, carefully select the seam edges that match the original MetaHuman. Go to Edit Mesh and Detach. Then Mesh, Separate, select both Edit, Delete by Type, History. Place the meshes side by side. Click on the original mesh, go to Mesh, Transfer Vertex Order, and select 3 vertices of 1 polygon in a specific order. I like to go counterclockwise straight from the top. 1, 2, 3. Then click on the second head mesh, find the exact same polygon, and repeat the same vertex selection sequence. Counterclockwise, starting from the top. 1, 2, 3. The mapping is done. Do the same for the body mesh and export. Before we go to Unreal Engine, I like to sculpt more details on the face in ZBrush. I import the head mesh with the fixed vertices into ZBrush and sculpt more details. For this one, I'm adding a scar and more wrinkles with damaged skin. I usually use very basic brushes, nothing fancy, just clay buildup, dump standard, smooth, and elastic. Adding some veins and skin details. You can go further and add micro wrinkles and pores if you like to. Once I'm happy with the result, I export the high poly and low poly models as OBJ. Next, open Adobe Substance 3D Painter and import your low poly mesh. Go to Texture Set Settings, Baking, and choose your output size. In the High Definition Meshes section, choose your high poly mesh. Choose Anti-Aliasing Subsampling 2x2 and select Bake Selected Textures. Once that's done, you will have a mesh with more details in your viewport. Choose materials and textures that work for your mesh. I'm adding some veins and shading details to enhance the facial features. Once you're happy, export the textures, hit File, Export Textures, choose your directory, Output Template, Unreal Engine, SSS Packed, choose the size and file type, and hit Export. Next, we are moving into grooming. I like to use XGen's interactive grooming. I duplicate the mesh for a scalp, delete all unnecessary faces, select all remained faces, and on the XGen interactive grooming editor, hit Create. A window will open. Now you can rename it and choose density and other attributes. The standard average hair count is 100,000, but for my zombie, I choose about 30% less, and since he will have shorter hair, I put 12 CV counts only. If you like wavy or curly hair, more CV counts will make your hair look smoother. Hit Create and start sculpting. Create layers, adjust lengths, density, and thickness, and add noise and clumps. Do same for eyebrows. I like to sculpt eyebrows directly on the mesh, so I choose polygons around his brows area, and the more the better. When you're done, export by hitting Descriptions, Export Cache, and rename it. In the General options, make sure Current Frame is on, and in Advanced options, check Final Width box. Set the file type to Alembic and hit Export. Do the same for the brows. Now finally, let's assemble the character in Unreal Engine. Import the body and head meshes along with the textures from Substance Painter. To import hair, you will need to make sure all the Groom plugins are on. So go to Edit Plugins and type Groom in the search bar. Check the Alembic Groom Importer and Groom boxes. The engine will ask you to restart, so hit Restart now and save selected content. Once Unreal Engine reopens, import your grooms by dragging and dropping them into your engine. Open your MetaHuman in the Unreal Engine scene by double-clicking on it. In the content browser, this time go to Import from Template, Head Mesh, and Body Mesh, and drag and drop your imported meshes into the head and body slots. Once the viewport updates, go to Materials, Textures Override, find Face, and add your textures. You can add more textures by hitting the plus button and choosing the type of textures you are adding. Tweak the eyeballs and teeth, download the texture sources, and hit Create Full Rig. Open the character's blueprint and in the component menu, select hair. If you can't find grooms in the component list, click plus add button and find groom. Find your custom hair in the content browser, select it and drag it into the groom asset. You will see the hair appear in the viewport. Do the same for eyebrows. In the content browser, right-click on the groom and select Create Binding Asset. In the options, select Target Skeletal Mesh, which is your custom MetaHuman head. Hit Create and do the same for the hair. Now add your groom bindings into the bindings asset slot, hair for hair and eyebrows for eyebrows. Add your character into the scene, set up the environment, lights and camera. Place your character's blueprint in sequencer and test the body and facial rigs. Then add your animation. And that was part 2. I hope you followed all the steps and now have a beautiful custom MetaHuman made from your concept. If you have any questions or more tutorial ideas, let me know in the comments. Subscribe for more videos and thanks for watching. Bye!